Welcome back, everyone. Ready to delve into another deep dive with us today?
Absolutely, always ready to explore.
Good, because today we're marching right into the heart of Skyrim, talking about those legendary warriors, the Companions.
The Companions. A fascinating bunch, shrouded in history and more than a little mystery.
Exactly. And luckily for us, we've got 3 sources to pick apart today, 2 wikis, and what seems like a pretty comprehensive guide. So we should be getting into everything, their history, how they work, maybe even some secrets. The good stuff.
Sounds like a plan. You know, what always gets me about the Companions is how deeply their story is woven into the very fabric of Skyrim.
Right. They're like more than just a group of warriors.
Oh, absolutely. They represent a direct living link to those earliest days. We're talking direct descendants of Ysgramor and the 500 companions who sailed across the sea to, shall we say, deal with those pesky elves.
It's almost like their existence is more like a religion in Skyrim, rather than just history. And actually, speaking of legendary status, one source even implies their reputation might even eclipse the Fighters Guild.
There is that subtle hint, yeah. You see, the Fighters Guild, especially in certain holds, seem to have, perhaps, become a bit too focused on wealth and influence.
Not a good look.
No, not at all. The Companions, on the other hand, while definitely not opposed to a bit of gold for their troubles, seem to have retained a core value of honor, passed down directly from the time of Ysgramor himself.
That's fascinating. So is that direct lineage, that connection to these almost mythical figures that sets them apart from, like, your average mercenary group?
Precisely. Think of them as keepers of the flame, almost.
I like that. Keepers of the flame. Which naturally makes me think they're incredibly picky about who they let into their ranks. It's not like you can just wander up to Jorrvaskr, bang on the door, and say, "Sign me up, lads. I'm handy with a sword."
You'd be lucky if they didn't chase you out of Whiterun. Luckily for us, the sources actually go into some detail about how one goes about joining their ranks.
Oh, good. Lay it on us.
Well, it's more involved than you might think. You've got to balance brute strength with a healthy respect for their traditions. Obviously, you'll need to prove yourself in combat.
Of course. Gotta love a good trial by combat. What else?
The sources mention things like running errands, proving your loyalty and dedication to the values that underpin their entire existence, really. Almost like an apprenticeship, wouldn't you say? Honing your strength alongside your character.
They're not just looking for someone who can swing a sword. They're looking for someone who understands the weight of that history, that lineage.
Yeah.
It's brilliant, really. No wonder they've kept that air of legend around them for so long.
Indeed.
But look, we can't talk about the Companions without addressing the, shall we say, elephant or maybe werewolf in the room.
Yes, their closely guarded secret. And while the sources dance around it a bit, trying not to spoil things for newcomers, we can talk about it, right?
Right?
Good. Because it's no secret there's more to these warriors than meets the eye. Something primal, ancient, running deep within their ranks.
See, this is where it gets really interesting for me. Because we're not just talking about joining a warriors guild. We're talking about potentially embracing something different, something wild.
Exactly. And this is where the Blood's Honor questline really comes into focus for the player. Now, I don't want to spoil anything.
Of course.
But let's just say the circle, those companions often seen as just a council of veterans, they hold a certain secret, one passed down through generations.
So there are these whispers, these hints that there's something more going on with the Companions, something that sets them apart from every other group you meet in Skyrim. Some might see them as just another band of mercenaries, but we know better, don't we?
We do.
There's something deeper going on here.
There's a hidden depth to them, definitely. One fueled by a power tied to the very wilds of Skyrim itself.
And that's where things get really interesting, right? I mean, that potential transformation adds a whole other dimension to their story.
Oh, without a doubt. It goes beyond just, swinging a sword. It becomes about what that sword represents.
Right, right. So is it a tool of justice, or is it something more primal?
Exactly. And speaking of swords and all things martial, our sources get into the nitty-gritty of the ranks and responsibilities within the Companions. Because it can't all be brawls and boasts in the mead hall, can it?
Definitely not. Gotta have some structure, right?
Precisely. The Companions might be bound by ancient traditions, but they're also a well-organized force within Skyrim.
So how's it all work, then?
Well, you've got your new recruits proving themselves, obviously. They'll be undertaking tasks that range from the mundane to the downright perilous.
Give us some examples. What kind of stuff are we talking?
We're talking retrieving stolen goods, clearing out bandit camps, even settling disputes between people.
So they're like Skyrim's all-purpose problem solvers.
You could say that. Part warriors, part sheriffs, with a dash of monster hunting thrown in for good measure.
I love it. Sign me up. So as companion rises through the ranks, they get more responsibility, face bigger threats. What else?
The more seasoned warriors, they take on the role of mentors. They guide the newer recruits, making sure those combat skills are honed and that code of honor stays strong.
Right, because it's more than just, here's how you swing a battle axe. It's about instilling those core values that make it companion. Values that I'm guessing are upheld by the Harbinger themselves.
Absolutely. We're talking the top dog, the leader, the ultimate authority within Jorrvaskr.
So the Harbinger's not just a figurehead, they're actively involved.
Oh, completely. Think of them as a symbol of the companion's strength, their wisdom, their connection to those ancient roots.
Which, speaking of ancient roots, brings us to that legendary axe, Wuuthrad. Broken into fragments, scattered across Skyrim. Sounds like quite the quest.
It's more than a quest, it's a pilgrimage. Think about it. Each fragment is a piece of their history. Reforging Wuuthrad isn't just about restoring a weapon, it's about reconnecting with the very essence of what it means to be a companion.
Because this isn't just any old axe, right? This was Ysgramor's axe.
Exactly. The weapon that helped him tame this land. Talk about a symbol of power.
So by finding those pieces, putting it back together, you're not just honoring the past, you're making a statement about the future.
Precisely. But you know what they say? Every hero, every organization needs a good rival.
Oh, I see where you're going with this. The Silver Hand.
Enter the werewolf hunters. And they do not get along with the companions.
Because it's more than just a difference of opinion, right? This is about two forces who completely oppose each other in a world where the line between man and beast is already pretty blurry.
Their feud, it's like a perfect example of the larger struggles playing out across Skyrim. Tradition versus change, order versus chaos. It's all there.
And the player gets to choose a side.
They do indeed. So we've got this incredibly rich history, these fascinating internal dynamics, this epic rivalry. But what's it actually like to be a companion, to live and breathe that life within Jorrvaskr?
So paint us a picture. What's it like? What do those sources tell us about life inside those walls?
Well, imagine, right, you wake up each day in the heart of Jorrvaskr.
I'm with you.
The smell of roasting meat drifting up from the kitchens. The clang of steel on steel from the training yard.
Got to keep those skills sharp.
Exactly. And those stories, those legends being shared around the hearth, it's a life steeped in tradition, camaraderie, and of course, no shortage of action.
Right, because it can't all be fireside stories and mugs of ale. These are warriors through and through.
Absolutely. A companion's life is about rigorous training, sparring matches that push you to your limits. And of course, venturing beyond the city walls to fulfill those contracts, protect the holds.
So forging those bonds of brotherhood through shared danger, shared hardship.
That's the heart of it, right. But then there's that other aspect we talked about, the one that truly sets them apart.
The werewolf in the room.
Yeah.
So how does that choice, how does it all play out in everyday life for a companion?
Well, that's really up to the player, isn't it? The sources emphasize that embracing the beast within is a deeply personal decision, one with significant consequences.
So it's not just, oh, cool, new powers. It's about how those powers affect how you interact with the world, with everyone around you.
Exactly. The game lets you explore that duality. You could choose to use those enhanced abilities, the strength, the senses, for the greater good.
Become a silent protector, a champion for those who can't fight for themselves.
Precisely. Or you could give in. Succumb to the beast within, let those primal urges take over.
A much darker path.
Indeed. And that choice, that responsibility, it's all yours. Will you be a beacon of hope, a symbol of justice, or a force of nature feared and respected in equal measure?
Wow. That is a powerful question. And I think it gets to the heart of what makes the companions so fascinating. They represent a choice, a path, not just a collection of quests or characters in a game. And that brings us to, I think, the big question, the one we always ask. Knowing what we know now, after all this, would you join their ranks?
Would you take up that mantle, knowing everything it entails?
Would you walk that line between honor and savagery, between man and beast? It's a question worth pondering, wouldn't you say? And that's what we're all about here on the Deep Dive, giving you the information, the insights to ask those tough questions. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and we'll see you in the next Deep Dive.